the game. This is my time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. In the saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to iRacing on LSRTV, simulcast on the Community Radio Network. As I mentioned during our football coverage about an hour ago, as soon as we finished up with the coverage of the race, we are going live to iRacing coverage, and it is round number 20 of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. Here from Richmond Raceway, the virtual iRacing simulator ready to go for 175 laps, a caution field race for the Cup cars on Monday night when you heard John and I call it. And now we are set to see what the trucks can do here on this Thursday evening with just less than 3 races remaining until the round of 12 and a run for the playoffs. Good evening. I am Wesley Outland. Joined alongside for the first time ever is one of the greats of iRacing broadcasting. I know he's looking forward to this one. Terry Radford will be joining us in the broadcast booth, as well as Jason Rockefeller. They will be the gentlemen that will be joining us as we bring in some new talent to fill in some of the other guys that normally stay very busy, like myself, leading the way. Terry Radford, welcome to Radford. Terry Radford, welcome to Richmond is what I meant to say. And the LSRTV CRN family, what do you think we're going to see for the trucks tonight at Richmond?
Well, first off, I do appreciate to say one of the greats of iRacing. It's an honor and a privilege to call one with you. I've listened to you. I've watched LSRTV for a while, and I admire your work, and I appreciate the kind words here. I'm excited to see what these trucks do here at Richmond. Over the last week we saw a lot of drivers be very aggressive into turn 1 and very aggressive off the exit of 2. But the exit of 2 is much different than any other corner in NASCAR, period, and it's much different than any short track that races. The exit of turn 2 likes to bite out and grab you, and this is one of these places right here that if you don't stay on your toes, you burn the tires up really, really hard. And unfortunately, we've seen a couple incidents in practice that kind of showed me that we're foreshadowing what could come into this race.
And we'll also bring in now the third member of our broadcast crew as well. First time that I'm working with him as well as Terry. Jason Rockefeller, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Wesley. Proud to be here, part of LSRTV and Northwest Truck Series here tonight. Honestly, I got to point out what Terry said. You know, this track, it really drives differently more than most short tracks across the NASCAR circuit. You know, turn 2 and off turn 4, both two totally separate corners getting off. You sweep around, kind of coming out to the wall off turn 4. And off turn 2, if you're not careful enough, it can really bite you heading there off the corner. You know, you've seen a lot of guys get loose there, you know, over the years, especially on iRacing. That wall really jumps out at you off turn number 2, and especially with the little bump coming off the corner, I expect a lot of trouble off turn 2 tonight.
Yeah, it should be a lot of excitement for sure. It's definitely we set the stage for what will be this event here this evening. Qualifying is just about ready to come to a concluding, and Caden Anderson, obviously coming off of a win in the Cup race on Monday night, is setting the bar 21.65 in qualifying over Justin Yee, Kevin Smith, who's already got a couple of wins this year. And that is the qualifying picture. While we've still got a break in the action as far as getting ready for the lineup of this 175-lap event here for round 20 of the Northwest Truck Series, let's take a look at the point standings, obviously. And there is a nice battle brewing for that as we now look at, as I give you the rundown of the points. Obviously, Cole Raz has got a 38-point lead over Dennis Moore. 5 wins for Cole Raz. Same thing that he's doing in Cup Cup. He's doing it in the Truck Series as well, the all-time winner this season with 3 wins for Dennis Moore. Coming off the win at Richmond of the Cup, Caden Anderson with 2. You know, Terry, could we see Caden Anderson in a fixed open setup truck like he did in Cup win here tonight for Richmond? Obviously, it seems like he's trying to prove us right because he is right now the fast man on the board. Faster than anybody, might I add. A 21.65 to a 21.78 for the outside pole.
Yeah, I mean, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I mean, looking at that lap time, that shows you he's here to play. He's here to party. He's here to do what he needs to do, and that's a very fast lap. That means that he was able to attack the corners. He was able to attack the exit. It's very hard to do that and complete it. But here's the real question, Wesley. Can he do that lap in and lap out? Can he continuously keep doing this, and can Justin Yee or Dennis Moore, the guy he's chasing for the points lead, he's not here tonight. So he has an opportunity to make those 38 points up to potentially take the points lead, leaving there at Richmond.
I'll tell you what, Jason Rockefeller, to elaborate more on that, of course, we saw a lot of cautions on Monday night for the Cup race here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I talked about before, this track drives really differently in both ends of the racetrack. You know, a lot of guys try to be conservative early on. They want to save those tires. You know, don't heat them up, burn them up too much because you never know if you're going to have a long run, a short run, or, you know, a medium-sized run. Richmond's very unpredictable. You know, I would like to say it's probably one of the most unpredictable short tracks. You could have a very long green flag run, or you could have a caution fest, you know, like the Cup race was on Monday. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys play out the race tonight and who's going to be able to keep the tires on it, who's going to be able to keep their head up on their shoulders and have a calm, cool, collective mindset going in here tonight and then coming out. It's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top tonight and who comes out with a good finish.
Right now, Toby Ritters, Troy Daggett, a couple other drivers that are on track right now taking qualifying time. And, of course, it looks like they're going to say qualifying is about to be officially over. Few minutes remaining here as they get ready to go for 175 laps. Oh, yes, thank you. By the way, we've got all new people here. We got Jason Rockefeller. Not Rockefeller, Rockefeller. And Terry Radford here as well. I'm Wesley Outland. And, of course, everybody behind the scenes includes Charles Wooten, Jeff Stab now, the Rocket Media, iRacing on LSRTV, Community Radio Network staff ready to go. 82 degrees, the air temp for weather conditions. Wind speed going to be blowing around 10 miles an hour. And another thing that we've not seen recently, Terry, is the cool track temperatures. That's going to be something that's going to be good for saving tire wear for sure.
Yeah, it sure will. It's going to keep the rear end from sliding. It'll allow drivers to drive on all 4 tires, which I know that's going to sound crazy to some of the radio listeners and for the guys on YouTube, but it's very different. You can drive with the rear. You can drive with the right front. It allows the load and the plant of these trucks to rotate just a little bit better, but with the lower track temp, with it being 84 degrees, and it's going to lower as the sun progressively goes down and we see the lights come on a little bit more around the Richmond Raceway. It should get down to probably about 79 degrees, which is going to allow for more grip, and these drivers are really going to be able to attack as we progressively go through these laps.
And Jason, Terry, actually, if you think about it, we have a 4-man broadcast crew because my son Nathan Outland is beside me. Nathan, you ready to see what these trucks can do after a caution-filled Cup race on Monday? Yep. What did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty yellow flag field with the.
Yes, it was.
So do you think the trucks will race better?
Probably. Hopefully they do.
Well, they don't call him the best color man for nothing. 1 word or less. Again, that's my son, Nathan. He's definitely going to be joining us a time or two, chiming in. But most of all, it'll be myself, Terry Radford, and Jason Rockefeller on the call as we're ready to go. By the way, I mentioned the point standings. We mentioned at least the top 2 between Raz and Moore. Caden Anderson, of course, the top 3, 48 back. Tyler King looking for that first win. I thought it was going to be last week. He was so close and just came up short at the end of the race. Of course, Paul Newton in the top 5. Sean Breitzman, Ryan Bloom, of course, Stephen O'Hare, Kevin Smith, and Dan West Jr., the 2-time defending series champion, who has got a couple of wins in Cup this year, but the 2-time defending champion, Terry, has no wins this year in trucks.
Well, and sometimes that happens. You know, you change the season a little bit. These trucks had an updated model, an updated version in the iRacing world. So, yeah, the trucks are going to drive just a little bit different. I've seen this in other leagues that I call for, where the most winningest driver in RSR on Mondays, well, he has 1 win this season, and he's an all-time guy. He's 2 championships in a row, and he can't seem to find victory lane. So no surprise, but, hey, Kevin Harvick had the same approach too. He didn't have any win for almost 2 years, and he went out and went back-to-back. Richmond could be a place that you could light the fire, just like Kevin Harvick did in the real world, and propel yourself to a championship run here at the closing end of the season.
Back-to-back races, as he mentioned. Jason Rockefeller getting it done. Kevin Harvick being happy here at Richmond last Sunday afternoon as well in the Federated 400, and we'll see if Caden Anderson can try to sweep, if you will, or actually Cole Raz, who won last week at Michigan also.
Yeah, Cole really, great race by him last week. I mean, honestly, I caught the end of that this morning and finally was able to watch the broadcast. Great driving by him. Honestly, like Terry said, Richmond can light a fire for a lot of these guys up underneath them. It can give them that kickstart to try to, get themselves in gear and progress, whether it be through the playoffs of the season, whatever Richmond may be on any league or iRacing formatted schedule. Richmond is a track where you can really, honestly, like I said, expect the unexpected at a short track like this. Fuel mileage, tires, whatever it may be, Richmond's a place where, if you can come out tonight on top at Richmond, I think you have a very good job, or you have a very good chance at carrying a lot of momentum for the remainder of the season here tonight.
Well, it's time to strap in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give you your starting lineup here tonight for 175 laps at Richmond Raceway. Fast qualifier. Caden Anderson will be on the pole in the 37. Winner, by the way, for the Cup race on Monday to the outside, Justin Yee in 64. Row number 2. Will find the driver of Kevin Smith for the 00 to his outside, Dan West Jr. in car number 55, two-time defending series champion. Casey Garber, the 94. Dennis Moore, second of the points, looking for win number 4 of the year. The 44 will start 6th. That's row 3. Row 4 will find the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion, Ryan Bloom, and the Northwest Cup champion last year, Chris White, alongside row 4, top 8, and round out the top 10. Jeff Stabnow, one of the guys that I say can really do well at Richmond, will start 9th. William Fletcher, Terry Radford will start 10th.
Yeah, looking here in P11, you got Sean Britzman with John Ottenbacher. Go back here to row 7, you got Briar Reynolds and Toby Ritters. Row 8, you got Aaron Cooper and Stephen O'Hare. Carl Burke and Tyler King rounds out top 9. And rounding out your top 20 here is Troy Daggett and Frank Harris.
And give you the rest of the field. Row 11, you got Gary Nichols and Brett Johnson, number 7. Row 12, you got James Vinning and Chris Kumar in row number 12. Number 13, you got Chad Malik and James Vinning, who looks to not be starting here tonight. Not too sure, but that rounds out your starting lineup here tonight at Richmond.
And guys, just to help you out a little bit with some of the lingo, no disrespect, but just to help you out. Sean Brightsman in 46, John Ottenbacher in 89, Briar Reynolds in the 12, Stephen O'Hare, not Stephen, Stephen O'Hare in the 41, Chad Malik in the 06, Chris Kamari in the 15, and the Catman, James Vining in the 333. But other than that, y'all nailed it out of the park.
I have an Alabama education. I started reading those names, and I was like, please don't call on me. I was like, please don't call on me on those names. And then you said, hey, P11. It's like, oh, no, I got the ones I don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go. We got some new commentators in the booth. Jason Rockefeller, Terry Radford, I'm Wesley Outland. We're ready for you to strap in. If you're new, follow us and give us a subscription, if you will. And follow all the action, of course, at iRacing on LSRTV, at LSRTV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, by the way, we're simulcasting, guys, not only on television, but also on the radio. So we got to kind of paint that radio picture for you on the Community Radio Network, 87.9 FM in the Triangle of North Carolina, and anywhere at wearecrn.com. It is almost go time. 175 laps the distance here at Richmond Raceway. It is less than 3 races remaining to the run to a championship with the playoffs at hand. Final spots, final opportunities up for grabs to place your bets and get there in the running. Ladies and gentlemen, we've not done this in a while. It's time to feel the roar at Richmond. We're short track racing, green flag in the air. Trouble. Couple of trucks down at the bottom. William Fletcher, Brian Reynolds have tangled, and yellow flag number 1 will come out over the speedway after a multi-truck accident. Terry, it all come glued through the tribal, the D-shaped here on the front stretch.
Very unique racetrack when you think of a short track with the D-shaped, with the turn inside of the track, and that's coming to the start-finish line. It looks to me as when they came across here, we'll take a look at the replay for the people on YouTube and for the radio side. It looks like the 12 here is going to roll this bottom. He'll come around here. He'll exit turn 4 as he rolls across. And the he just caught the wall and got right into the side of the 12. They go sliding into the grass, but no harm, no foul. These two drivers are just fine. The 028 and the 12 just had minor damage. Short track racing at its finest to start this race at Richmond.
And I'll tell you what, we're going to do a turn announcer type radio style. Jason Rockefeller, they're coming around your area off the back stretch. How much damage do you think we saw on the 28 and the number 12 as other trucks are coming to the pits as well?
Yeah, a lot of guys coming, or not a lot of guys, but 2 trucks looking coming to the pits right now. That's John Ottenbacher and Aaron Cooper. But yeah, the 28 right there off the corner off turn number 4, he really hit that outside wall there hard. I'm honestly not too sure if it's a fair amount of damage where it's not going to do something to the truck. I definitely think though that it's going to hurt his RPM level to an extent. Along with the other driver who was involved. I mean, off the corner, that was a hard hit, pretty much a T-bone there off turn number 4, and a sledgehammer hit right to the outside wall for the 28 off turn 4 there coming lap 2.
Yeah, some of these drivers definitely coming down to the pit lane and taking on service, no doubt. Of course, Ottenbacher possibly on pit out is what we're being told, as he just made a pit stop. James Vining, the Catman, with problems. He has not yet took the green yet. And, of course, those other trucks caught up in the accident with Aaron Cooper, Brian Reynolds all coming in. And I don't think, per se, yet that they are going to take a fast repair. Terry Radford, it might be too early in the going, but it does look like they're going on the damage clock to try to make some repairs without using that mulligan, if you will, just yet.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of damage on that driver's side and the passenger side for those two drivers. No sense in taking that free mulligan that you get. Wait until you have more significant damage on this truck. Aerodynamics doesn't play a whole lot here. You want to wait until the truck actually starts to lose speed. And that's when you crush in the front quarter panel or the right rear quarter panel of these trucks. That's when it starts to make a big significant damage that'll take you out of contention for this race.
First caution early in the race on lap number 3, or actually lap number 2, right in the middle of our official fire it up, feel the roar as the field was getting ready to come to the green. I'm digging this drone view, by the way, just some of the new angles that we have going on here for iRacing on LSRTV. We got a couple of cool bells and gadgets along the way. Oh, and by the way, a lot of by the ways. Tonight as well, Sunday, we've got the Major Series presented by Major's Garage, and we are going dirt track racing with the American Sportsman. It will be, of course, around 7:45 Eastern Time from Weed Sports Speedway, a track that I've actually announced in New York. And of course, while NASCAR gets ready to turn left and right at Watkins Glen, we're going dirt track racing with the American Sportsman Major Series coverage on LSRTV and CRN Sunday night, 7:45 Eastern Time. And we are getting ready now for the restart. The field to come back to the Geico restart zone side by side. It is Yee and Anderson. And the field to take the green. Under the line, it's going to be Yee. He'll pull away about 1 or 2 truck lengths, Jason, as they work their way in front of you out of turn number 2.
Yee hugging that bottom right now off turn number 2. Little bit loose is Anderson there off the corner. They stretch out a little bit. The 60 or the 64 right there. He's got about a car length gap now as they head off turn 4. But there's a side-by-side battle. And sideways goes the 0-0 of Kevin Smith off the corner. He's able to save it there. No caution yet. Looks like they're going to keep it green here as they're heading for 1 and 2.
Yeah, just a little slip there, a moment for Kevin Smith. And I'll tell you what, Terry, what a move for him to be able to, obviously he's going all the way to the penthouse to the outhouse there, Terry, but all the while, a nice save to keep the yellow flag from coming out for the 0-0.
That was a massive one, and new fastest lap was on the board. Dan West Jr. with a 22.0 just topped the fastest lap that was laid down on the racetrack by Yee. So there's a lot of comers and goers so far in this race. A lot of drivers are very, very fast. As caution number 2 comes out on the speedway as we come to complete lap number 8.
Yeah, yellow flag out of the racetrack as we're putting down lap number 9 on the board, working lap number 10, and Chris Camary with a problem in the truck number 15 and the 22nd position. Camary's truck now putting us under the yellow flag for the second time. They'll reset them. We'll look at a replay here and give you a radio description of what happened. Of course, there goes the 06 of Chad Malik. It looks like he might have got to the left rear of the 15 of Camary. Camary's truck way, way high. Oh, watching it now. And all this happening in front of them. No, Carl Burke lost it in front of Camary. And oh my, you want to talk about Chad Malik being lucky. Threading the needle in the middle, and he got away clean there, Terry.
Yeah, got away cleanly, and you just see that the 53 just looks, as we continuously look at this replay here, he might have got tagged here. We see, or maybe he just got loose. I think we're a lap ahead of this this caution flag that had come out. He catches the wall, gets loose, and he's going to go around here momentarily. And we're going to, oh, he catches the wall, gets tagged again on the outside, spins it around, gets contact with the door of another driver, and then threads the, oh, they all thread the needle, and the 15 clobbered him.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just a really unfortunate circumstance there for some of those drivers. Nowhere to go. Track completely blocked there going into turn number 3. And, you know, Richmond is just one of those tracks where if one car goes around in front of the field, it's very, very hard to navigate through there. And if you do, and honestly, it brings me back to, I think it was 2008 when Scott Briggs got turned around down the back straightaway heading into 3 in a massive pileup late in the race and that year, and honestly, it's almost the same thing here. We've seen it plenty of times here in iRacing and in real life, where one driver gets turned around in front of the field here at Richmond, and it ends up just being utter chaos.
So the yellow flag coming out again. By the way, Jason Rockefeller is calling the action from turn 2 to the back stretch to 3. Terry Radford and myself trying to keep up with everything in Tower. We might get off sequence a time or two, obviously, when Kevin Smith about lost it there off the turn, and he saves it. And then, of course, we had that multi-truck accident there for the second time. And yellow flag is out. Looks like the lights will go off on the pace car this time by, and we will re-rack them and restack them. Let's set up your top 10 for the restart. It's Justin Yee out in front. Caden Anderson, Cup winner on Monday. He's in second. Dan West Jr. third. Dennis Moore and Casey Garber, Terry, your top 5.
And you got Ryan Bloom, Jeff Stabnow, Chris White, Sean, I think you said Brightsman, and Stephen O'Hare. Yeah, it's Stephen O'Hare. That's your top 10. I'm getting these names, Wesley. I'm getting these names.
2x2, ready to come back for the restart as announcing colleague Dustin Jarrett says Noah leading the animals to the arc. The lights are off on the pace car. Pace car pulls in here at Richmond Raceway back to the Geico restart zone, and boy, did Justin Yee fire right at the blue mark, and we get a green flag right after the start. Here comes now Yee. He'll pull away. He's got Dan West Jr. as well as Anderson going on Jason off turn 2.
Yeah, off turn 2. A lot of guys drifting up high there off the corner of the 55, though, of, I believe, 55. That's Dan West Jr. Tried to head down to the bottom there, got a little tight there off turn 4, but they're still single file as they head back to 1.
Yeah, you continue to see him go single file here. The next closest battle that we're going to see is back here at the 21. He has 2 challengers up in front of him. The 23 is having, that's Ritters. He's having a fight on his hand by O'Hare. He's on the bottom. That number 23 is trying to rip it, but the 41 on the outside has really been able to make it stick as he makes the pass. Put O'Hare up to P10.
And the field working their way back into turn number 1 and 2. There goes O'Hare, Ritters, King, and Reynolds. All of this going on as they work their way. Jason back out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Caden Anderson just turned the fastest lap of the race by just about 100th of a second with a 22.03. A lot of guys, though, starting to be single file right now, but Justin Yee still out front right now with a 37, though. Caden Anderson, who just ran that fast lap of the race before, he's closing in on the back bumper, coming on turn number 2. A little bit loose there, though, off turn number 2, down the back straightaway, though, but he is closing fast on the 64 of Justin Yee.
All of this working their way again off of turn number 4. You're on board with Justin Yee. All of this happening as they cross the start-finish line. It's Yee and Anderson, West, Garber, Moore. They all stay single file. Then they go to the bottom as they work out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Yee right now, he's just trying to protect his line right now. Doesn't want to get too tight off the
corners. But right now, Caden Anderson's doing a great job hugging that yellow line, but you don't want to get too far down because you can get a little bit loose and spin yourself out.
And they're trading the fastest lap back and forth. That time it was a 22.29 to a 22.22. That's your top two speed as Anderson looks to continuously close the gap on that number 64 Yee.
Yeah, Anderson right now, he's just closing in on that back bumper. He is smelling the lead right now. Justin Yee is just trying to protect it like I talked about beforehand. And right now, looks like he's still going to just be hugging that bottom here as they head off of turn number 2, coming into the back bumper though a little bit. Caden Anderson had a run right there, but not enough momentum off the corner as they head for 3.
Into turn number 3, it's going to be Yee now. He'll hug the outside of the racetrack. Now comes back to the bottom. Hugs back to the outside lane as Anderson lost about 2 truck lengths. This all going on as they work now lap number 20 next time by. Anderson now looking for the lead into turn number 2.
Anderson right now still just smelling that lead like I talked about. They got about a 3 to 4 length car length gap behind them, back to third of Dan West Jr., but the 37 is just sniffing at that lead right now, and Justin Yee about a car length back or 2 right now as they head for 1.
Dead even lap times right there as they come across the line. They're the fastest 2 trucks by far here as we work lap number 22, just completed lap 21, and they have separated this field. It's about 5 car lengths. There's a truck a little sideways back there in the back, but they saved it, gather it back up. Green flag conditions still over Richmond.
Yeah, back at turn number 4, the leader, of course, is still Yee and Anderson. Look at now Ryan Bloom. This is Chris White, Stefan O'Hare. This is a battle that's going on inside the top 10, 11, 12 positions, all on the racetrack. They stay to the bottom out of turn 2.
Yeah, still single file. 6 a little loose there out of turn 2. He's still trying to gather it back up as the tires wear out here while the run progresses throughout the night for the long green flag stretches. You'll see those trucks. They're not going to be able to put as much power down off the corners because it's just going to create a ton of wheel spin. But the 6, great job saving off turn number 2. He's under fire, though, from the 41 of Stefan O'Hare now as they head down the back straightaway, heading for 3.
Continues to see that 6 is starting to work a little bit more inside the corner. The exit bite is not there. He's looking up ahead. He's trying to get to the 25's back bumper of Bloom as he sees a 2x2 battle up in front of him. That would be the 46 and the 24. They go side by side off the exit 2 down the back straightaway, and this is just getting an epic fight between all of these drivers from 6th on back to 10.
Bloom on board with him, and Stabnow's up on the outside lane. Brightsman, his teammate, down to the bottom. This is going on for position inside the top 10 for 6th and 7th. Now on board with Brightsman is now he holds on to that spot out of turn 2.
Yeah, still double wide right now on turn number 2, and right now it's going to single back out as you're on the back bumper cam or the back deck lid of the 46 of Sean Brightsman right now on turn number 4, though he's still able to hold position. The 6 though gets a little bit loose, 2 cars back heading into 1.
Yeah, we're seeing here on the back bumper of Stab now is you see White and you see Bloom being stuck to the outside. White down there painting that yellow line, but the outside's prevailing so far, Wesley. Not too sure how long you want to hold that outside here, but it's starting to work early in this race.
And the longest green flag run of the race so far is we're about to put around 30 laps into this event for round 20 here tonight at Richmond. All the while, Chris White, Cup champion on the inside. Ryan Bloom, ARCA champion. They go at it down the back straightaway. Jason in turn 3.
Yeah, they're still side by side battling hard. The 25 though up on the outside lane looks like he's going to be cleared by the 6 of White off turn number 4 as they head into turn number 1 now, single filing out here as they head through 1 and 2, sweeping around right now though. Looks like behind him the 25 is going to try to arc it a little bit, not enough. They're still single file as they head for 3.
41 was much faster that last time by. He was about 8/100ths faster as they came off the exit of that corner and completed that lap. But it's still single file racing here. This is very hard to pass at this racetrack. You really have to get under and take the air off the back end of these trucks. Much different than what we witnessed on Monday night or Sunday night with the Cup Series. You can't really wiggle the air as much, but here you can. Here you can make the trucks move. You can make them do what you want. But this is good single file, short track action here at Richmond.
All of this going on as the field passes the start-finish line. 30 laps in. It's Yee, Anderson, West, Garber, more Brightsman. Stabnow, White and Bloom along with O'Hare settling into the top 10. Stabnow gets a little loose. Jason going to turn number 3. And Chris White might have some inking, blinking, nodding issues as they work off turn number 4 as well.
Yeah, he's blinking just a little bit, but he is still coming really fast up to the back bumper of the 24. Looking to the inside of him now, down to the bottom of the racetrack, wrapping around that yellow line, drifts up a little bit here off turn number 2, but they're still side by side with a little right side damage there on the 24 truck as they headed for 3, still side by side.
I was just about to call that one as he had a damage. The lead, Wesley, it's heated up big time. The 37's back on the back bumper. It's now 1/10 of a second. He's there. He's on his counter panel.
Caden Anderson got a little too high there, working to the bottom of the apron, and he got sideways, and now he powers his way down to the inside, drifts up in front of the truck of Yee, but Yee will not be denied. He now keeps it off the outside, safe for wall barrier. Almost a photo finish at the line. Anderson, Cup winner Monday, on the inside, trying to complete the sweep at Richmond. Jason off turn 2 to the lead.
Yeah, for sure, trying to keep that sweep alive right now. He's doing a great job, just took the lead, trying to keep at it right now. The 66 or the 64 still on the back bumper there, showing us the 66 number on his truck, even though the scoring pylon says 64. But right now doing a great job so far, but I think the 37 of Caden Anderson is just a little bit faster on the long runs. The 64 looks like he's only got a short run speed truck, but only time will tell as they head for 3.
I can say that the lucky momentum is on the bright side of Caden Anderson, and right now it looks to be so as he takes the lead and he is pulling away, starting to boot, scoot, and boogie. It's 4/10 of a second. 2.5 truck lengths separate the top 2. 37 of Anderson, 64 of Yee, and Anderson's pulling away. He's stretched it now to almost 5/10 of a second as they go down the back.
Almost a half a second now as they work their way back across the corner, hugging the bottom of the aprons, Anderson, and now we catch up with some more action with inside the top 10 between Ryan Bloom and Stephen O'Hare. That's currently 9th and 10th. On the outside looking in, Tyler King trying to now make a rally and climb inside single file. All of this coming up in our green flag, longest run of the race so far. Just 2 yellow flags in. And of course, now look at the trucks getting a little dicey there for a moment, Jason, as we see Jeff Stabnow getting a little bit on the defensive and offensive, if you will. That truck fighting him as he goes back into turn number 1.
Yeah, he just got really loose there off turn number 2, Wesley, that last time around here at the Richmond Raceway. He's under fire from not 1, 2, 3, but 4 trucks behind him right now. They're all training around like it's Daytona and Talladega. The 25, he goes to the outside. That's Ryan Bloom. Not enough momentum there off the corner to carry it down.
He's looking low now. He's going to try to peek his way down to the inside as they enter into turn number 1. It is side by side right now for the 8th place position as the 24 sits in the middle, and then you have this, I believe that would be, that's the 25 going down to the bottom. The 41's going to try to peek his nose in there. That's Stephen O'Hare. He's trying to work his way there. The 21's not too far behind to make this, the 24 gets pinched to the wall.
Yeah, all this going on with a lot of activity inside the top 10. This is for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and hey, 13th, the man as well of Brian Reynolds stick his nose in the gunfight as Ryan Bloom now inside, outside, holding off Stabnow. They put lap 40 on the board, Terry, as they work now at a turn number 4.
Yeah, they come at a turn 4, and you talk about a dog fight for these positions. The 24 gets slideways off the corner. Here comes the 41 of O'Hare. He's going to work all the way down to the wall. Almost clipping the pit exit there. It's now the 21. That's King. He goes to the outside. He's going to try to make this run. He's at his door. Trucks are sideways off the exit of turn number 2 as they go down into 3.
Into turn number 3 now. This works on, but King up on the outside with teammate, the American touch-up 41 and 21. Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King, Brian Reynolds on the outside looking in. There's your dozen spots, and that goes on into turn number 2.
Yeah, these guys right now are fighting for every single position on the racetrack. The 24 truck, though, of Jeff Stabnow, he just keeps getting looser and looser as the laps wind down here in this green flag stretch. It just makes me wonder, you know, how much tire wear are these guys putting on those tires? Because drivers like the 24, he's just consistently getting looser and looser every single lap, especially off off turn number 2. And he's going to get looked down to the inside by the 41 of Stephen O'Hare right now to the bottom off turn number 4. They're side by side there for position.
This amazing battle continues now as we approach 50 laps in and almost 1 1/4 remaining as the field goes into turn number 1 and 2. All this diving down. O'Hare to the bottom. Stab now on the defensive. King will now protect that line. Terry, as they work their way into turn number 3.
Yeah, I mean, we got 24 out there on the outside. The 21 of King, he's working it. He's ripping the bottom. The 24 can't really play defense because he's stuck there on the outside. He can't rip it down there and pinch that driver. He's so loose. The 21 gets clear. Move him inside the top 10. What's up? Welcome to the top 10. Plus 8 positions for the 21 and plus 7 for the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. As now the 24 is looking to attack again. He's under the 21 again.
A very interesting opening 50 laps. Definitely not like it was on Monday. The trucks, the Premier Series of the Northwest, underway. We're also coming up on the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network radio identification on the Community Radio Network, 87.9 FM. This is the Northwest iRacing Truck Series from Richmond.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Approaching 50 laps into this event. Welcome back to coverage on the Community Radio Network and iRacing on LSRTV. I am Wesley Outland, Terry Radford alongside Jason Rockefeller, also, and in the production, Charles Wooten pushing the buttons. We've also got my son Nathan here. Nathan, very different race now that we saw compared to last on Monday night for sure. Yeah, definitely. Not a lot of cautions.
No, there's only 2 this time.
Have you got anybody you got your eye on so far?
Caden Anderson.
Caden Anderson. And by the way, Terry, he's in the lead as the leaders work off of turn number 2.
That's no fair. He got the low-hanging fruit, but Caden Anderson took that race lead 2.3 seconds ahead of Justin Yee. As he comes around here, we're working lap number 49. We go on board with Casey Garber sitting back here in the 4th position. Has a good little fight going on here as he's starting to catch Dan West Jr. In that 55 machine. Doing a very good job so far earlier in this race, rolling these corners, allowing the truck to plant and to settle off the exit, but that's still no fair. The low-hanging fruit got given here. My eyes on that 55 right there. I'm not too sure that we've seen what Don West Jr. can do here.
And I'll tell you what, Jason, as we approach 50 laps of this event, definitely these drivers riding and driving right now, the nice way of saying it after a couple of cautions in the opening 15 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. The racing so far has been super, super good tonight. Aside from those cautions at the beginning of the race, there's passing all over the place. You got guys on the outside, you got guys in the middle, the bottom, everywhere on this racetrack here at Richmond tonight. Great racing so far, and Caden Anderson is just putting on a clinic right now. Took the lead just a handful of laps ago from Justin Yee. He is pulled out now to almost a 3.5 second gap. At one point, he was almost a second behind Justin Yee, but now he's pulled away to a 3.5 second gap as they work around for lap 53 next time.
Terry, we're coming up on over 50 laps into this event. Let's give you the full field rundown as these drivers have kind of settled in, as I mentioned, a ride and drive. With Terry and myself, we'll give you half the field. Caden Anderson is the leader. Justin Yee is second. Dan West Jr. is third. Dennis Moore is fourth. Casey Garber is fifth. Chris White is sixth. Ryan Bloom, seventh. Sean Brightsman is eighth. Stephen O'Hare is ninth. 10th is Tyler King. 11th is Briar Reynolds. 12th is Jeff Stabnow. And right now, Brett Johnson just past Kevin Smith there. Terry, to move to the 13th position.
Yeah, it puts Kevin Smith back down in 14th. They flop again. You move Brett Johnson back to the 14th position. Frank Harris, Toby Ritters down there in 16th. Aaron Cooper, 17th. Troy Daggett in 18th. Chris Kamari in 19th. Chad Mullen in 20th. Gary Nichols in 21st. John Ottenbacher. There you go.
Onbacher, my friend.
Onbacher in 22nd. William Fletcher in 23rd, Carl Burke in 24th, and James Vining did not start this event. He attempted practice, just didn't have the pace, didn't want to race. He's back there in 25th, the shotgun on this field.
Yeah, just like, well, I think I told you at FIM, I said it's just like the popcorn, but it's not. It's like Orville Redenbacher, but it's not Redenbacher, it's Odenbacher. So
I
think
was
of
homeschooled,
popcorn
Wesley.
when you think of the name next time. Driver out of Billings, Montana right now as we settle in. 55 laps in, a green flag run continues. We pick it up as it's stabbed now. Johnson and Smith. This battle going on for 12th, 13th, 14th, about the middle of the snake's patch, if you will, as they work their way out of turn number 4, back to the tri-oval, heading your way in front of you, Jason. And right now it's a fierce battle, but they're all single file at the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, you see the 7 of Johnson right now. That's the battle for 13th. These guys, as the laps progress, tire wear is becoming more crucial as every lap clicks off here tonight at Richmond. Just waiting to see when we're going to have those green flag pit stops here as we look back now to the 41 right there. That, I believe, I'm trying to get
Stephen O'Hare.
Stephen O'Hare there in the 41. He's just flying right now, but right now, battle behind him. It looks to be, I believe, the 21 and the 45. Can't tell with the numbers there. But yes, that is the 21 and the 46. They battle continuously. They're going to sweep around 1 and 2. Now the 21 clears the 46 here off turn number 2. But like I said, it's only a matter of time before these guys start contemplating when they're going to pit.
All of this happening now, Terry, as they work their way back to the start-finish line, and we have officially put 60 laps on the board. A massive, lengthy 40-plus green flag run lap continues here with Caden Anderson continuing to set the pace. Oh, and mind you, not only has he set the pace, he's in stealth mode in that truck number 37. There he is right now as you see him. Right now, the Harvest Chevrolet is 4.2 seconds back to his teammate, Justin Yee, as they work their way into turn number 3, Terry.
Oh, yeah, Caden Anderson, he's in a different zip code here on Justin Yee. He's 4.5 seconds ahead here as we complete this, but he's actually not, he wasn't the fastest truck on this field. That went to Chris Wright and Ryan Bloom. They have been able to set some of the fastest laps across this board. The last time by, we see a 23.15 for the leader. We go back to Ryan Bloom. He set a 23.1. That's faster than the drivers in front of him. So, yes, while the leader, Caden Anderson, is very fast, there's drivers back there that I believe if they got track position, we could start to see them progressively work their way up this pack and have something for the end of this race.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And Jason, as they work their way back to you out of turn number 2, starting to see some of the trucks tighten up. That's because the tires are wearing out here at Richmond.
Yeah, whether your setup is a loose or tight setup, sometimes the run progresses on. Your truck can go complete opposite ways as the run progresses throughout the night with these green flag stretches. We see a lot of guys getting tight off turn 4. We see a lot of guys getting loose off turn number 2. Everybody is kind of just in their own world right now, just worrying about how their truck is going to handle and what they're going to do to set their truck up when eventually they do have to pit, or, for the remainder of the race. I mean, you want to try to get these adjustments in and make sure, like if you're Dan West Jr., if you're Dennis Moore, make those adjustments so you can go out there and catch the 37 of Caden Anderson, because like Terry said, Caden is in a zip code of his own. He is now pulled out to over a 6-second, yes, 6-second gap right now as we work around the track off turn number 4, as you look at the 64 of Justin Yee and the 44 of Dennis Moore.
Yeah, all this going on now as the field works their way past the start-finish line, and just like Jason reiterated the second turn, this is the battle for position between Dennis Moore and Dan West Jr. going at it for position. Garber is trying to reel him in also as they work their way. Terry off the back stretch, heading back out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that 94 has been very fast. Lap times have started to match. He's been faster. Casey Garber ran a 23.41. That time it was even between him and Dan West Jr. of a 23.40 to a 23.43. So starting to put the pressure back there on the back bumper of West Jr. But don't look now. You're starting to see Dennis Moore catch up a little bit more to Justin Yee. So the top 4, while they're not catching Caden Anderson, he is in his own zip code. He's in a total different state at the moment. Everybody else is in Richmond. He's in North Carolina doing his own thing. These drivers are starting to close in and starting to accordion these drivers back up to go bumper to bumper.
Yeah, all this going on now as they work their way to the back straightaway. There is again Dan West Jr. as you saw that angle change right now close up as they work out of turn number 4. And you got to be thinking, Jason, the way these trucks are tightening up, we're watching them still ride and drive. We're closing in on a century grind remaining at Richmond, but green flag pit stops are also coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm expecting these guys to probably pit more than likely around probably the 75, 80, maybe at most 85, lap mark here. We just saw the 00 of Kevin Smith. He just came out of the pits, and you can just see right now, perfect on the screen, the 00 is on fresh tires. So you're going to see right here through turn number 1, that 00 was able to wrap around the corner really quickly, and he's going to have so much power off the corner. The 55, though, under attack from the number 94 of Casey Garber as they head for 3.
You see him here, single file across. We go back up to the 37. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of Justin Yee. But we go just a little further back here with the battles that are happening. The 94 goes to the outside, tries to make the pass on Dan West Jr. Can't make it stick, but don't look now. Here comes Chris Wright. He's starting to work. As they work into turns 3 and 4, it's a 3-horse battle, and, well, they're starting to catch up to the drivers in front of them, too. This race is heating up big time.
All of this going on as they cross the start-finish line. There's Garber, followed by White. This position for 5th and 6th continuing now. And honestly, Garber now trying to close it on Dan West Jr. And the first cycle of green flag pit stops have began as the Thunder Road number 23 Budweiser entry of Toby Ritters is working to his pit stall. And I think that's just the beginning of many more that'll be coming here within the next 10 laps here. Terry Radford off turn 4.
Yeah, expect to see pit stops happening, and is this going to be the thing that is going to open the floodgates of pit road when you see a guy like Ritters come down? He was running very strongly up here in this top 10. Who's going to be next? Who's the domino that comes in? I would believe that if you're Justin Yee, if you're Dennis Moore, you're Dan West, you're Ryan Bloom, you're coming down to try to trap Anderson, to try to make him think something different, as there's a change for second. Dennis Moore makes the pass on Justin Yee, as now we're working lap 74. That's the tide changer, because Justin Yee's falling back very fast, and he's got Dan West and Casey Garber on his back bumper.
And all the while, as we start to see Ritters and Moore come to the pit lane, we're also seeing more green flag pit stops. And then when that happens, Jason, more trucks go a lap down as we're on board now looking at Dennis Moore in the 44. When will he pit? He's in second now.
Well, Dennis right now is doing a great job on these tires. He just got past Justin Yee, but that also means in the 64 of Justin Yee, his tires are almost shot pretty much more than likely. He keeps getting so tight off turn number 4. I mean, honestly, I can't see these guys staying out until probably at most lap 85. You got to pit soon. I know John Ottbacher, he just came into the pits. He's 3 laps down right now. But if I were one of these guys up front, like Casey Garber, Dan West, Justin Yee especially, pit before lap 80. You want to try to get the jump, because you never know. Those 1-2s. We have one truck right there in the grass, not too sure.
Oh, Stab now in trouble.
That's the 24. That's the 24, I believe, right there of Jeff Stab now.
Nice trouble. Contact. One truck up into the wall. Daggett's truck almost smacked the outside wall. Stab now, and everyone else had to quickly get on the binders to miss him. And I had a feeling that we were going to see a wreck, but luckily, Terry, they hold it together out of turn number 4. No caution.
They hold it together, and all in while, Dan West Jr. gets around Justin Yee, and so does Casey Garber. They're making the pass here, and Chris Wright, he's trying to put the moves on the 66 as well, as that truck is handling awful. The 66 has no run off the corner. We've seen trucks go off the racetrack. We've seen trucks get pushed up to the wall. This has gone absolutely crazy as the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, he comes down pit lane. Early break for some of these drivers that did not want to see the caution, and luckily they don't, with only 11 trucks still on this lead lap.
And mind you, all these trucks that are either a lap down have either pitted or they have just got passed by a truck of Caden Anderson. As you see on the bottom right of the monitor, the small box, that's the leader, and he is in his own world as right now Yee and White battle for position. This is going on the racetrack as that goes on, Jason, in turn number 2.
Yes, side by side, battling right now for the 5th spot. Chris White to the bottom of the 64 of Yee. They're side by side down the back straightaway, neck and neck as they head for 3, and the 6 is easily going to clear him as the 64 continues to fade here on this long run as he's loose off 4.
All of this working as they come back to start finish, as Jason, Terry, and myself reiterated on. We're approaching now lap 100 here in this 175-lap race. Oh, and also, Terry, halfway is coming up. Your take of the first half of Richmond. A lot more cleaner than the caution-filled race we saw on Monday night here.
Yeah, the trucks handle so much differently than the Cup cars do. You get a little bit more of a center bite. You get much of an exit here as the 25 of Ryan Bloom. He's starting to close in on the 64 of Justin Yee. No surprise, though, that Caden Anderson wins that Cup race and comes here to the Truck Series and has figured something out about the Richmond Raceway, because he is almost 10 seconds. Yes, folks, I said 10 seconds ahead of this field. He is doing a marvelous job here tonight.
What are you thinking, Jason Rockefeller?
I mean, honestly, like Terry just said, the 37 is in a zip code of his own. Like he said earlier, almost 10-second gap back to the 44 of Dennis Moore, as Sean Brightsman is on pit road right now. He's taking 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. He's off and away off pit road. But like I said, you know, you got to be thinking about when you're going to pit. I'm surprised nobody's came in this early, you know. I mean, we've seen a couple guys, but, you know, a caution right now could change up this race drastically. See the 15 of Chris Premier. He comes into the pits right now off turn number 4. But, you know, with these two drivers pitting now from inside that, you know, lead lap, I believe that you're going to start seeing a lot of drivers start to pit here within the next few laps.
Chris Camary, who brought out a caution earlier to the 1-5 Studios entry, now coming in for his pit stall. We're in a cycle sequence of green flag pit stops, and all the while this continues here as we approach halfway and also lap 100. Under 100 laps remaining now here at Richmond Raceway. The Toyota down to the inside. The built number 6 of Chris White. He is in 4th. Garber in 5th. That works off Jason out of turn number 2 in front of the 2-time series champion, Dan West Jr. He'll still continues to have handling issues, it looks like.
Yeah, the 6 of Chris White, he's doing such a good job on those older tires, up so many positions. I think that his truck is most definitely set up for a long run. You can just see how much faster he is right now. And right now, he looks to be faster than the leader of Caden Anderson. That last time around, he ran about a 10th or 2 quicker than him. Obviously, lap times will change this time by, but he's doing such a good job as the 11 of Frank Harris is into the pits now. Drivers are starting to really question when they're going to be pitting here in just a few laps.
Field working their way, tearing it back out of turn number 2, back to the back straightaway. We're watching now this battle between Ryan Bloom and, of course, Yee begin, but that's trucks that are right now on the racetrack that are fighting for 6th and 7th right now as they work out of turn number 4.
You could put 6th and 7th under a blanket. It's a truck car length in between these two as the 64 continuously goes on. He's a little tighter than what he was earlier on in the Maconi Abruzzi setup shop Chevrolet as the 4 gets to the back bumper. That 25 has been on a mission so far. Ryan Bloom coming through this field, doing a marvelous job as Justin Yee is just trying to stop the bleeding. He's down 4 spots to the 6th place position as we complete lap 89. Lap 90 touches this board.
I'll tell you what, Nathan, I bring you back in here as well. You know how to pick them. I remember the road course event. You rode with both drivers, and they won the event like Paul Newton and the trucks. Obviously, what made you decide to pick Caden Anderson? And obviously, we're seeing how strong his truck is, and he ain't even pitted yet.
He went to the Cup Series and he won it.
He went to the Cup Series. Of course, he's talking about the Northwest Cup Series race on Monday night as well. We got that for you on iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. But honestly, season 3 for the Cup cars, season 9 for the trucks. Jason, that is just the premier series of the Northwest Racing Series. It's the trucks, and it's Truck Thursday on CRN.
Yeah, they've been putting on a great show for us here tonight. A lot of side-by-side action all over the racetrack, strategies, different setups, and whatever it may be. And right now, continuing to march up towards the front, Chris White is just hugging that bottom. He's all the way up to the top 4 now, and he's still matching lap time with the leader of Caden Anderson. But like I said, these trucks have been putting on one heck of a show here for the fans tonight at Richmond.
They certainly have, and if you're enjoying the racing coverage tonight, by the way, don't forget tomorrow night on the Community Radio Network, football season back again. We've got the Grimsley Whirlies, the Clayton Comets, the new High-Q Energy Drink pregame kickoff begins at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Join myself, Wesley Outlet, Blake Robertson, Kim Winslow, and Kevin Stump for the broadcast call on wearecrn.com at 87.9 FM. And I'll tell you what, Terry Radford, watching this battle now, this is honestly probably the best battle on the racetrack for second and third and fourth.
No, it absolutely is. They are starting to reel in the 44. The 6 got wicked loose there off the exit. Oh my goodness, what a save by Chris Wright. As he still didn't lose very much time to the 55. As West Jr., he's sideways off the exit of turn 2. They go out of the back straightaway, and it's still 3 car lengths that separate the third and the fourth place drivers. They're still sideways through 4.
You know what blows my mind right now, Jason Rockefeller, as they work their way back to you? Why have they not pitted yet? Why are they thinking track position instead of making a pit stop as we approach lap 100?
Well, 2 things I look for with this race so far that I've been seeing so far. A, you want to make sure that you're good to the end on fuel. Now, obviously, I haven't really been hearing the trucks shut off and holding in the clutch and so forth. But right now, I think you want to make sure that you're going to have enough tire life to make it towards the end, because I think a lot of these guys are setting up for a long green flag run. The way that these guys have not pitted, especially this top 5, I think they are expecting this race to go green to the end. But also, you got to think about this race could be overturned by a late race yellow or even a caution right now. If you go into the pits right now, you're going to go a lap down, and if you don't get the lucky dog and the caution comes out, you're pretty much in a hole. You put yourself in a hole for the remainder of the night, and you just want to fight for that lucky dog position after the caution. So right now, if I were these guys, make sure you're keeping care of those tires, because they sure are probably screaming right now underneath those trucks with how hot and worn out they're getting.
And we are about to approach a triple digits on the scoreboard here. A century grind about to be completed as Fletcher, who brought out the earlier caution to start things off with Brian Reynolds. Inners exits off the pit lane. Has the way before he can climb up on because of the blend rule to the back straightaway. But when they work their way this time by, it'll be lap 100 on the board. 75 laps to go. Dan West Jr., Chris White, they continue to battle Terry for that spot into turn number 1.
6 regained momentum. He got got sideways off the exit of 4. He regained that 55, slides up the track into 2. The 6 gets a great forward bite off the exit, side by side down the back, heading into 3. The 6 is going to look like to easily clear here as he does. Move the 6 of West, or Chris Wright, up to P3, move West back to 4th, and now he's got Casey Carver starting to make a move here as he's going to look to the outside.
And he is coming to the pit lane now. He finally puts the Ather Chevrolet, the entry of battling Longwood Dan West Jr. He finally says, I've had it, I'm coming in. Battles with Bloom, battles with West. Dennis Moore also coming in. All of this happening, and now Dan West Jr. will follow. We were thinking track position, Jason. We were also thinking, eventually these trucks are wearing themselves out. The tread is gone on these tires. You can see the truck tightening up, loosening up. However way their setup is, that now they have got to go in for the pit stop. And mind you, might be smart with under 75 laps to go. This could be the money stop, Jason, at Richmond.
This could be the money stop for sure. The 55's in along with the 44, 71. Justin Yee just pitted. Right now, he's not showing laps down. Now I believe he is. He's 2 laps down, in fact, from the scoreboard from what I'm seeing. But, I think Justin Yee pitting, that opened up the gates like Terry talked about earlier with pit stops. Since Justin Yee pitted, everybody wanted to pit. They know he had a fast truck on the short runs, so why not take the opportunity to pit with him and try to maybe gain some track position? You just see all these drivers right now all over the racetrack with the combination between fresh tires and old tires. I would not be surprised if we see a caution here any lap because of the combination between fresh and old tires.
All of these pit stops now continuing to happen. Chris White moving his way down. Here comes Ryan Bloom. And another thing is the transition entering the pit lane. You have got to be on the binders. Terry Radford, you have got to be watching those gauges. You've got to make sure that you do not get a penalty. Oh, and mind you, don't overshoot your pit box on entrance or exit either.
Something's wrong with the 25.
I think Bloom's out of fuel. I think Bloom is out of fuel, guys.
Oh, that's huge. That flips it upside down for the 25. He was having such a good run. He was doing everything he needed to do. You talk about this pit road. You talk about you have to be perfect here, Wesley. When you come off the banking, of turns 3 and 4, and you work down, you start to lose the back end of the truck a little bit. But I want to point a note at what I paid attention to with Caden Anderson's lap time. He has only fell off a second. That tells you how good that setup is. He has fell off 1 exact second from his fastest lap time of this race of a 22 flat. He's running 23 flats at the moment. That's a marvelous one. It's 20 seconds. Yes, fans, I do mean he has doubled it as trucks are losing it coming down pit road here.
And here is the sequence of things that are going to happen. Jason, we'll bring it back to you as the field working their way into turn number 2. Stephen O'Hare is on the pit lane. Also, Tyler King, the American Touch-Up teams are coming to the pit lane. But also, you're mixing lead lap trucks with also lap down trucks. Mind you, everybody except Anderson and Reynolds are on the lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Wesley, I think right now that Caden Anderson, though, feels like he's good enough, like Terry just said. He's only fallen off the pace by about a little over a second. That's not all, honestly, that bad for a truck with that setup and tires that are pretty much over 100 laps old compared to these guys who just pitted within the last 10 laps. But right now, Caden Anderson, he had over a 10-second gap before we saw all those pit stops happening. I think he feels comfortable enough, but now he's coming into the pits this time by, but he's got to try not to overshoot it. He might have been speeding right there, not too sure, but he could have been fine right there as he enters the pits, as I was just talking about. And now we're going to see where he falls out here after his cycle of green flag stops.
And in that transition, this one output Brian Reynolds to the lead. And hopefully now a lot of drivers are going to be on the outsets to try to get those laps back, get a lap back, and put themselves back in contention to try to win this race. All the while, Caden Anderson all the way at pit stall number 1. Reynolds will now come to the pit lane. This one output Kevin Smith Terry as the leader. And here comes everybody on the scoring pylon, getting their lap back right now inside the top 15.
Well, and potentially would put Kevin Smith to the race lead as Caden Anderson was in a zip code of his own. We'll see where he blends. And Caden Anderson, no harm, no foul. He's still going to lead the race. Fans at home, if you're listening to this race on the CRN network, he held the lead, and he came down pit road under green flag conditions. If that tells you how fast he is, Dennis Moore, 3.7 seconds back off of the 37, and he's on fresher tires, 9-lap fresher tires than Dennis Moore. Hands down, the best truck of the night, Caden Anderson. He's on a tear. Just hand the man the trophy.
And by the way, Jason Rockefeller, whenever we saw Anderson come to the pits, there might have been maybe one little glimpse of the 00 having to shed a light of being able to be the leader, and then that went away. Caden Anderson in his own world.
Yeah, Caden Anderson, I just talked about before that he had a 10-second gap before those pit stops began. Everybody started pitting, went trapped under a lap down or two, and he was able to maintain the lead. I can't believe that happened, but at the same time, I'm not as shocked as I should be because he had that big of a gap. And now with fresher tires, he's pulled in front of Dennis Moore by more than 3/10 from when he came out of the pits, and that lead is continuously growing. I expect Caden Anderson, if this race does go green in the end, Caden Anderson is more than likely going to be Nathan's best pick he's probably ever made.
Nathan, I got to give you mad props, buddy. You know how to pick them for somehow, some way you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah, that's it. That's all he's got, folks. And his daddy's a play-by-play announcer, okay? He's definitely not going to be in the business, at least yet. And working the way to the back straightaway, it's Caden Anderson, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., Chris White. This battle goes on for third out of turn number 4, Terry.
Yeah, the battle continues to rage on. Even on fresh tires, you see the 55 and the 6 continuously fighting along. The 55 just seems like he's good on this short run, but the 6 has been good continuously around this racetrack as they catch the 24 here. They're going to try to make easy work out of him, but Jeff is no slouch. He was running in the top 10 before he had issues on the racetrack, and currently at the moment, caution comes out. He's the first car 1 lap down, so the 24 being respectful, moving out of the way for the lead lap cars, and we'll see if that yellow flag comes out, because I wouldn't be shocked, Wesley, to see that 24 contend for a top 10, maybe even a top 5 if he's able to get the lucky caution.
No yellow flag yet. Last yellow flag came out around lap 15 to 17. This is the longest green flag stretch, and it continues to go on here at Richmond with a race that saw almost 18 caution flags on Monday night for the Cup Series. Only 2. Jason, I'll take those odds with 58 to go.
Yeah, caution would definitely play a huge factor, and I mean a huge factor. It would throw an absolute curveball into this race if we did see a yellow, and Caden Anderson would have to be challenged for the first time tonight, besides when he took the lead from Justin Yee many laps ago. You know, and it's interesting to see if a caution did come out, who's going to be better on the restarts. Will you pit for tires if it does have that opportunity in front of you? It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not expecting a caution, but like we said earlier, Richmond's a very unexpected short track, and tonight we very well might see a late race yellow if it does play out.
No doubt about it. This race could provide green flag runs like we're seeing tonight to stretches of caution like we saw Monday night. Definitely it has its own world animal, virtual or reality here so far, as we are, believe that is the back of the machine of Chris White, and he has got a tailgate full of Dan West Jr. and Garver and Audenbacher, not the popcorn man, coming out of turn number 4 there, Terry. All the while, Jason, all this going on, where you're working your way is in a turn number 2, buddy.
Yeah, right now, though, the 6 of Chris White, he is super fast. I was talking about earlier, Wesley, that he is just so fast here on these long runs. As the run progresses, I expect him to probably be the best driver on those older tires. He's already up to the 3rd position, +5 from, I believe, where he started. Dennis Moore, obviously 6.5 seconds back from Caden Anderson. But there's battles all around this racetrack. You see more drivers coming into the pits. You see the 15, he just pitted. The 28 is now coming back in. So some drivers deciding to go with the 2-stop. Maybe try to get some laps back. Maybe try to get on the lead lap through some of these other guys. But right now, the 6 of Chris White, I'm definitely keeping my eye on him if this race does get a late race yellow.
All of this going on now as the field works their way back across the start-finish line. And again, at 50 laps to go, 125 laps. We're going to step away. We're going to go side by side to thank our sponsors. You are not going to miss a thing. And we'll be back, Terry, Jason, and myself, to bring you the finish from Richmond.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway, Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments, and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
And welcome back to coverage on CRN. I race it on LSRTV, simulcast. I am Wesley Outland. Terry Radford stepping away. Jason Rockefeller alongside. And Nathan, my son, is here as well. Enjoyed spending the week with him while he gets ready for school to crank back up. And your pick, Anderson. Nathan's still up in front.
I'm still picking him.
Still picking him. Definitely. Jason, what a performance by Caden Anderson. The lead is now 8 seconds over Dennis Moore, 11 seconds over Chris White, and that's the truck we're watching now in third as he works to turn 3.
Yeah, wrapping around the bottom in 3 and 4, doing a great job. I said before we stepped away for a little bit that Chris White is on the move. Absolutely keep your eye and your ear on Chris White for the remainder of the night with just under 42 laps to go as he works around 1 and 2 on the bottom of the lap truck of the number 99 right there of Troy Daggett. He still is charging very, very hard. That last time around, he was only about 3/10 off the leader. Not too bad, but right now he's doing a great job at just coming back to the front. I tell you what, like I said before, if a caution comes out, keep your eye on that 6 truck. I think he has both great short run, long run, and even mid-run pace.
All of this happening now as we approach 40 laps to go. Next time by Caden Anderson, Dennis Moore, Chris White, Garber, West, Yee, O'Hare, King, and Reynolds. Your top 10 with Smith. That's the way it stands right now. There is 8 trucks on the lead lap. We continue to watch Chris White continue his ascent to close in on Anderson. And even though he seems like the fastest truck on track, it does seem like he's still also losing ground as now 9 seconds to Moore in second. 12 seconds to White now as that goes on with 39 to go. Jason in turn number 2.
Yeah, the 37 of Caden Anderson is just putting on an absolute clinic here tonight at the virtual Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. Beautiful night here on the racetrack for us, obviously, in the virtual world. But the 6 of Chris White, I'm noticing him right now. He is gaining on the 44 of Dennis Moore. It was about 3 1/4 second gap back from him and Moore. And right now, he's cracked down to under 3 seconds, back down now to 2.8 seconds, almost 2.9. He's doing a great job. I do think he has enough time to catch the 44 of Dennis Moore. And if that happens, he gets around him, a caution comes out, he very well could be battling Caden Anderson for the race win for the night.
All this happening now with Chris White again. We're still watching this truck, and honestly, there's really nothing happening on the racetrack. There's multiple laps down for Toby Ritter's in front of him. Behind him is, of course, Kenneth Garber. He is still losing ground to Chris White as White is now trying to run down Dennis Moore, followed by Caden Anderson. This going on with 35 laps to go. Caden Anderson out in front, 10 seconds now as White trying to pass some lap traffic. Ritter's off turn number 2.
Yeah, he's closing in right now on the 23 of Toby Ritter's coming into turn number 3. He runs a little bit high. The 6 wraps around the bottom. That Corey LaJoy, Built Bar, Ryan Newman, Hubbard-inspired Toyota. That's a heck of a combination for colors, number, and manufacturer. It's a beautiful-looking number 6 truck. I may add, definitely, in my opinion, the best scheme here tonight. But he works around the 23 of Toby Ritter's off turn number 2. Little loose there off turn 2. Tires starting to go away, maybe just a little bit. His gap to Dennis Moore is about evened out now. It's back to 2.9 seconds here as we're hitting 34 to go.
Yeah, all this happening now as all of this going on here with Anderson, the leader, Moore in second, White to third, Garber in West. And I'm understanding we have lost Terry Radford as his whole town has gone in a blackout. There is no power whatsoever in the location, and that's why we just suddenly dropped from the broadcast. But I will say, Terry Radford, an honor, privilege, pleasure working with you. Hopefully we can work many, many more times. Jason, me and you going to bring this one home. Over 30 laps to go as it is still Anderson. There's Garber trying to run down and get around Ritters. They're getting to White. That goes on in turn 3.
Yeah, Garber right now, he's closing in on Chris White and that number 6 truck. Only a lap truck, I believe, separates the two of them, plus a gap back between them, obviously. Chris White, though, is gaining just a little bit on Dennis Moore. He's tracked it down to about 0.2 of a second less now, back from him to Dennis Moore right now. But as the laps wind down, you got to start thinking, you know, if a caution comes out, what are you doing? Do you want to try to pit? Do you want to try to do something else? You know, you could just throw a monkey wrench into this race if a caution comes out. You know, there's battles all over the track right now. You got guys on older tires, guys on newer tires. There very well could be a caution.
All this happening as you see the leader under attack, moving by the legend Frank Harris. Aaron Cooper, Bug Eyes, the 71 up on the outside. And while that happens going into turn number 3 for him to continue to increase his lead, Terry Radford has suddenly got back power.
Oh my gosh, Sam, that's that fiber optic cable right there. I didn't miss much. The Caden Anderson show continues to be put on here. It's almost 12 seconds ahead of this field now. But it looks like a couple battles have changed. Justin Eastville a lap down, hasn't got his lap back. You go here to KC Garber. He's working his way back up here to potentially catch who I thought was the sleeper of Chris Wright down the 41 of O'Hare. He's working his way to maybe get a top 6 finish here.
Caden Anderson, the leader now, looking for, again, another win on the series. Hey, by the way, last time they were here at Richmond, Kevin Smith won this race. But for right now, it is all Caden Anderson. Another K up in front. It's the KA show, as Toby said. Jason, we're closing in on under 30 remaining, and it is now Yee and O'Hare battling for 6th and 7th. Your way out of turn number 2.
Yeah, they're single file off turn number 2 right now. They got a lap truck in front of them. That's the 71 of Aaron Cooper. So that's definitely going to play a factor for them right now. They're nose to nose, a little bit of a bumper there by the 46 there off the corner. That's Sean Brightsman there. He looks to the inside of the 41 through turns the 1 and 2. Back to single file now as they head down the back road. But a great little battle here. He's peeking again into turn 3. That's the 46 under the 41.
Harry, here's my transition on things as we finally put 150 laps on the board. 25 to go. Into the home stretch we go with now only 25 laps remaining. O'Hare diving after Yee for this spot, trying to now sneak into that 6th position. Brightsman, remember, 2 laps down. Lap traffic, lead fast cars, slow traffic, an ingredient for trouble here. You gotta precisely dictate and you find a way. Inside, outside is right now a bonsai move with Yee and Brightsman, and those are the things I'm talking about. You got to be a little aggressive, but you also got to be patient and not get caught up in an accident.
And Yee has been struggling on these longer runs. We've seen him on the short run earlier in this race. He walked away from the field. He had a 2.5 seconds over Caden Anderson, and we've seen what he has done since. He has failed back in this field, and some of these drivers have just methodically driven this race, and they have done it in such a way that they were able to rotate the corners better. They were able to just make the trucks be stable underneath them, and that's a recipe for success here. But you've seen with the 64 of Yee where the back end just isn't happy with him as he comes off these corners. And right now for the 46 of Brightsman, 2 laps down, but hey, if he passes the leader, that puts him 1 lap down, and it gives him an opportunity to take the waiver route to get back on the lead lap. He's still fast with no damage, but he's very, very loose off the corner.
All of this going on as they work their way back into turn number 3. Sean Brightsman now down to the bottom of the racetrack. All the while closing in on 20 laps to go. Jason, we really don't know what to show anymore. I feel bad for our producer Charles Wood because he's like literally trying to pull a needle out of a thread because Caden Anderson has stunk like a squirrel the show up here tonight in Richmond.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, Cody obviously always knows how to find the battles. One of the best in the business here on the producing side of things here on iRacing. And right now, Caden Anderson is just continuing to put on a clinic, almost a 15-second gap. Yes, folks, I said that 15 seconds gap between him and Dennis Moore. As Chris White, I talked about him before, he might be able to get to Dennis Moore by the end of this race. He's under 2 seconds, 2-second gap now between him and Moore. That's down to 1.85 seconds now with just under 20 laps to go as they work their way around 1 and 2 throughout the racetrack.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Terry, as we watch more lap traffic, slow trucks now in the way of fast traffic, I got a feeling a storm's brewing here in Richmond.
Oh, I mean, could this potentially, Wesley, turn into the year that Dale Jr. gets turned by Kyle Busch, and then a guy sneaks up out of the way? A guy named Clint Boyer sneaks up and wins the race. Because I remember listening to it on the Performance Racing Network, and the only thing that I can picture in my head,
Racing Network, get it right now. MRN.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
MRN.
Hey,
my fault.
Yeah.
It was many years ago in the truck with my dad, and I hear trouble. Dale Jr. goes around, front bumper of Kyle Busch. Clint Boyer takes the lead. Could we see that again with maybe Dennis Moore?
He's 6 in the wall.
Oh,
he's in the wall, guys, and Tyler King just passed him. Brian Reynolds is now climbing into that spot. Jason, in front of you at a turn number 2. But a great point, though, Terry.
Man, if I were these guys right now, I would want to get around the 64 of Justin Yee as quick as possible. You see the 12 there. Bonsai move there down into turn number 3. He gets around him very quickly, but the 64 powers back to the outside lane, gets the 12 loose a little bit. But like I said, if I were these guys, try to get around Justin Yee as quick as possible, because his handling on his truck is pretty much gone here with just under 17 laps to go as they continue to click the lap top.
All of this going on as they work their way into turn number 3. Caden Anderson is the leader. There is Reynolds' truck. And remember, Terry, he was part of the first wreck. Now he's back in the top 10 and 8th as they show Anderson off the back straightaway with 15 to go.
There are 4 drivers on the lead lap here, and that's Caden Anderson, Dennis Moore, Chris Wright, and KB Garber. That's your top 4. That's your lead lap trucks. Anything happens, there's your 4 for the win, with Dan West Jr. potentially looking to get the free pass here as we come to 13 to go when they cross this line. And this race has been an action-packed snooze fest, as you could say the least.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure, Terry. I mean, these guys have just been battling all over the racetrack here tonight between old tires, new tires. Definitely a strategy race, but Caden Anderson, as we keep talking about him tonight, just an absolute clinic. It's now up to almost a 17-second gap. Crazy to think that he had a 10-second gap before those round of green flag stops. 10-second gap, yes, folks, I said it, 10 seconds. Came into the pits, didn't go a lap down, didn't lose a position. He stayed in the race lead ever since he took the race lead from Justin Yee earlier. He has been checked out, saying sayonara. He has been on the move, and right now he's looking to bring home a win here tonight at Richmond.
Coming to the home stretch, a dozen laps remain. Nathan, Caden Anderson, I tell you, what a performance this truck has had here tonight.
Yeah.
And not many cautions like Monday.
We only had like 3, that's the...
2. Keep up with it, 2. Only 2 yellow flags.
Keep up with
as they work their way to the line. Start finish, 2 cautions, 8 caution laps, 1 lead change. It's been all Caden Anderson since the drop of the green flag. And he is ready to bring this to 10 laps to go, Terry Radford. Because now we see King and Reynolds battle on the back straightaway.
Almost made it seem like I wasn't even here on that one. That was hilarious. Keep up with it. We've had 2 yellows in this race, and we've had 2 leaders, and one of them has led 90% of this race, and that's Caden Anderson, and your son's a very wise young man already, because off the jump, he knew when the 37 took this race lead, he was going to be checked out in another zip code. He's racing in California. Everybody else is racing on the East Coast tonight. He's
Terry,
gone.
he might not be a good commentator like I am for a career, but I could darn sure say Nathan needs to go to Vegas.
Hey, I'm taking him with me. Tell me what number I'm playing in the lottery, my man, because I'm following you. I'm following you. Let me win a couple millions in the Mega Million. But these drivers, Wesley, have done such a phenomenal job. You think of Garber, you think of White, you think of Moore, staying on the lead lap. And while they're not in contention for this race win, they're still in contention for a very good points night. They're in contention for the momentum to roll into next week. Very proud of this.
I'll tell you what, Jason, it is coming to the end, under single digits remaining, and more cars fighting lap cars. While that goes on, Anderson has opened it up to almost 18 seconds over Dennis Moore. I don't even see his truck anymore on the scoring pylon.
Caden Anderson. Oh, we got a truck right there loose off the corner. I was just about to say, if I were Caden Anderson, I'd be trying to click off the fastest lap times you've ever done in your life, buddy, here on a late run at Richmond. You got under 7 laps to go. You got trucks on old tires, new tires, mid-level run. Everybody is on a different strategy here tonight. If I were him, get to the checkered flag as quickly as possible. You want to see that white flag with over a 19-second, almost 20-second gap. He is crazy out there tonight, but he is hoping to not see a yellow because it very well could happen because, like you said earlier, Storm could be brewed. He just didn't fall. He's sideways into the barrier there off turn number 2. Maybe a caution, maybe not. We stay green with just 5 laps to go. We got a battle, though, right now between the 6 and the 94 of Casey Garber as they head through 3.
Yeah, all this going on, a lot of scares and thrills there as we thought Reynolds spun. He did hit the guardrail, but he stayed to the bottom of the racetrack, and it is 5 laps to go now. This battle, Terry, 4 remaining, heating up between Chris White and Garber. This is for 4th out of turn 2.
P4 heating up with 4 to go. We put the 4 in the air for everybody. We're about to put 3 for Dale when the leader crosses the line, but the 94, he's not going to let the 6 have relaxing laps. He's going to pressure him through every single corner as the 94, he's going to peak low, try to scare the 6. 6 plays defense going into 1. To the outside, the 94 goes. 3 laps to go at Richmond.
All this happening now as they work their way out of turn number 2. I'll tell you what, Jason, we watch these guys battle side by side. It's coming down to the home stretch of this race. This is for 3rd down into 3.
Crazy battling here. They're still side by side, almost neck and neck. Put them under a blanket right there. Give it to the 6 right there with a 3rd place spot by just about a foot length right there over the 94 through 1 and 2. They're still even battling for 3rd. Who's going to get on the podium here tonight with 2 laps to go? The 6 is sideways. He saves it. What a save by the 6 of Chris White as he heads for 3. He's still loose.
All this going on around the leader also, mind you. Chris White just goes a lap down as Caden Anderson will see the CRN 1 to go. White flag in the air. Final time. Now in front of him is Garber. Caden Anderson. Final time. Terry to the back straightaway. Who's going to win it?
Caden Anderson putting on a show, putting on a clinic for the fans at home, for the fans listening. The 37 rounds turn 3 and 4. He sees the start-finish line. Caden Anderson wins at Richmond.
Caden Anderson will come to the line, and he has dominated. You thought he pulled off a shenanigan in the Cup race on Monday night. Caden Anderson has took everybody to the woodshed, young and old, and just wear their virtual tar hide out. Caden Anderson, 3rd win of the year, ties now with Dennis Moore in the season, and Super Friends Colrads at 5. Caden Anderson will pull out a broomstick, sweeping Richmond Raceway for this week with the Northwest Racing Series. And again, Terry and Jason, sheer domination. That's the only 2 words I can use to describe as we see the virtual pyro and the overhead view of things coming to an end here. Caden Anderson just literally sheer domination on that 37 truck.
Well, he called the rest of the field to the principal's office and just gave them an absolute butt whipping tonight.
Can you say corporal punishment?
Oh, I guess you can, because he did it to everybody. He punished not 1, not 2, but 23 other competitors. He absolutely dominated this event, and 3 drivers finished on the lead lap, and one of them finished by the hair of his teeth.
Do you even realize, Jason, back to you on the back straightaway, that Chris White and Garber were fighting for 3rd and 4th, and there's only 3 trucks that finish on the lead lap. If he could have got around Chris White, which he did, correction, if he could have got to Chris Garber or Kenneth Garber, he would have had only 2 trucks on the lap down. That's it.
Folks, for everybody watching and listening, I cannot believe what we just saw here tonight. Caden Anderson came into the pits with a 10-second gap at those green flag stops, pitted, didn't lose a lap, didn't lose a position. He's held the lead ever since he took it from Justin Yee earlier in the race. I mean, just utter and pure dominance by the 37 of KA tonight. What a run for him, and the fact that he was able to lap pretty much over 90% of the field tonight is absolutely absurd. If I were these guys, I would be going to Caden Anderson asking for advice for the remainder of the season. He just put on a clinic tonight.
And if I was with the Northwest Racing Series, I would be wanting to do a thorough virtual technical inspection of that 37 as well, for sure. No, I'm just messing. I am just messing. Caden, he knows I'm his buddy. Yeah, come on, Washington. Caden Anderson, his 3rd win this year. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see like a DQ like what happened to Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin at Pocono. Dennis Moore finishes in 2nd. Casey Garber 3rd. Chris White 4th. 5th is Dan West Jr. And Stephen O'Hare will finish in 6th. I guess we'll go 6, 12, and 12 to make it 25 there. You've got also Tyler King 7th, and you got the rest of the rundown up there as well on to about 14th there, Harry.
Yeah, we got Brian
Lost my
Reynolds
train
down
of
there.
thought there for a second.
It happens to me all the time. It's like a squirrel up there. Brian Reynolds sitting in 8th. Justin Yee dominating earlier in the race, then got overtaken, fell back to 9th. Brett Johnson rounds out your top 10. 1 lap down. You go to Sean Breitzman, 2 laps down in 11th. You got Aaron Cooper, Frank Harris, Kevin Smith, Jeff Stabnow back there in 15th, and Ryan Bloom rounds out your top 16. All of those trucks were 3 laps down. Jason taking 17th on down.
Yeah, you start now down to the trucks that were more than 4 laps down. Troy Daggett coming home with the number 99, 17th. Toby Ritter's in the 23. He finished 18th. Then you have John Ottenbacher there in the number 89. He comes home 19th. Garrett Nichols in the number 8 comes home 20th. That rounds out your top 20 for the remainder of the field. That was multiple laps down. William Fletcher in the 21st position. Chris Kamari. Chris Kamari.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I butchered it when I first started.
Comes home 22nd. Chad Malik in the 06 truck, he comes home 23rd. Carl Burt comes home 24th. And the driver did not start tonight. The number 333, James Finning, comes home in the 25th position. And that rounds out your finishing order here tonight at the virtual Richmond Raceway.
James Viney, the Catman, with a bad night here for sure. Hey, we're also getting ready to go into the finish line post-race wrap-up. We will grab the top 3. Caden Anderson, Dennis Moore, Casey Garber, all on the way. First, we're also coming up on the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the Community Radio Network with the Northwest Racing Series at Richmond. Post-race is next after an amazing domination performance of Caden Anderson.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back, Richmond Raceway. Caden's house tonight, if you will. Dominator of the event, close to over 100 plus laps. He dominated, led from the outside of the front row, never looked back. And we'll be grabbing a word with him in a moment as he grabbed his 3rd win of the year. By the way, he sweeps races here this year at Richmond Raceway, leading up to the final couple of races remaining. Road course racing next week at Watkins Glen, and so much more. Let's go now to, I believe, our colleague Terry Radford has caught up with the driver, Dennis Moore. Another solid good points day. A man that's got wins this year, Terry, and he is thinking playoffs, but right now another solid finish at Richmond.
Well, Dennis Moore, you finished E2, and well, most of the time you would say that's disappointing, but for tonight, nobody had anything for that 37 of Caden Anderson. What got you to P2, up 4 spots from where you started in 6th?
Well, you know, we put a lot of work into the set. I thought it was good coming into the race, but Caden was just on a different level. He almost lapped the entire field. But I'm happy with 2nd place, finishing 2nd to Caden here. He's really good at short track, so I can't complain.
Well, you know, you can't really complain with a performance like this here this afternoon. You were one of the strongest trucks on this field. Do you feel that if a caution came out potentially late in this race, that the 4 of you, going back to Chris Wright too, would you've had an opportunity to make a run at Caden on a short run?
You never know. It always turns into a crapshoot once it's late race cautions or something like that. Caden, you know, could have got a bad restart or something like that, but he was by far the best truck in the field tonight. So congratulations, Caden.
Well, let's foreshadow ourselves to Watkins Glen next week as we go road course racing with these trucks. Are you good at turning left and right? Because most of these NASCAR guys are just so focused on these ovals and the short tracks and the intermediates. What's next week going to do? Is that going to build your momentum? Is that going to build your confidence going into Watkins Glen?
To be honest, probably not. I'm shooting for a top 10. I'm not the greatest at road courses. I'll try and put some laps in this week and see what happens. My best road course finish, I think, was at Sonoma. I'm not sure how that compares to Watkins Glen, but I'm excited. Something different, turn right. It'll be fun.
Well, I tell you what, 90% of the time when drivers tell me they're not very good somewhere, they go out and they win the race. So Dennis Moore, you're my pick next week. I don't know if I'll be calling it or watching it, but I will be tuned in. I think that 44 is going to go to victory lane.
I appreciate it, man.
Got anybody you want to shout out tonight? Any sponsors you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to thank Beaver State Racing, Nicole Bryan Photography, More Speed Setup Shop, all the guys that helped out with this setup this week, and you guys with the Northwest Racing Series.
Well, Wesley Outland, that's Dennis Moore finishing P2, and it looks to me you're standing by with Caden Anderson, the man who absolutely waxed this field tonight.
Yeah, another solid performance for Dennis Moore, and another great performance also for Caden Anderson. Won the Cup race that was yellow flag field on Monday night and bumped up 2 spots to move to 3rd in the points. Mind you, he is now 3rd in the points for the Truck Series with his 3rd win. A lot of 3s in that sentence tonight. Caden Anderson, I think the word I used was sheer domination. Man, did everything just go right from the drop of the green? And obviously, you were telling us before post-race interviews and our post-race show that you kind of helped with the setup. Obviously, a lot of people might have had some help, but you had something figured out that many others couldn't.
Yeah, I feel like early on in the season, when we came here earlier in the spring, I feel like me and Cole and Casey Garber aligned pretty good, and we built something very good for the spring. And showing up tonight, you know, we didn't get very many green flag runs the first time around, so showing up tonight, we had an idea of what it'd be like on a long run, but we didn't know what it would stack up against the rest of the field. So Casey and the rest of our group, you know, with Skeet Fleet Enterprises and Garber's Garage, they kind of went a different direction, and I stayed with our spring race setup, and fortunately, it was pretty free the whole entire night, and I think everybody else just got super tight, and we were able to stay pretty solid.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nathan, you got anything to say to Caden Anderson? You were riding and down with him this entire race tonight.
You rocked this whole show tonight.
I appreciate that.
He said you rocked the whole show tonight, by the way. It's that Carolina Southern slang, but he said you rocked it, Caden.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We had a pretty decent night, so I'll take that.
Certainly did. Final question. I'll let you segue that into also thanking your sponsors. Did you come into tonight's race with the mindset of this is going to be a wreck fest compared to what we saw Monday? And why do you think the attribute was a totally different scenario and outcome at the end of tonight's event with only 2 yellow flags? And mind you, in the opening 20 laps of the race. After that, it went green to checker.
Yeah, considering what happened in the spring and what happened Monday night in the Cup cars, I did think we'd get a lot more cautions. I wouldn't say it was going to be an entire wreck fest the entire race, but I did think we would get substantially more cautions than we did. I think a lot of the reason it played into was we didn't have very many cars tonight, I don't think. Usually, I feel like we have another 5 to 6, maybe even 7 or 8 more cars. So I think just a drop in car count really allowed everybody to get spread out and be able to run and have their own pace and, not have a car next to them where they can overdrive and wreck people. So I think just lower car counts was good tonight.
Well, buddy, we'll let you go. Thank your sponsors, and we'll see you next Monday night on the road course at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I want to thank Harvest Chevrolet, Studio 10 Wraps, TTI Transportation, Takedown Tackle, and everybody that helps at the setup shop.
The win will go to Caden Anderson here tonight. He'll sweep Richmond Raceway for this week, as well as the penultimate race before the playoffs is upon us next week at Watkins Glen. He'll join now 3 wins on the season with 5 poles, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10, 12 top 10 finishes. The driver to Yakima, Washington, of the Harvest Chevrolet, number 37 of Caden Anderson. Let's swing on over to the back straight away to get closing thoughts on tonight's coverage at Richmond. Jason Rockefeller, a pleasure. Your take of this race tonight.
Yeah, honor here with all you guys here at LSRTV calling this great race tonight. Absolute clinic put on by the 37 of Caden Anderson. Still am so in shock that the fact that he was able to put out a 10-second gap right at the start of those green flag pit stops, pitted, came in, didn't lose a spot, didn't go a lap down, nothing. He was able to maintain the lead after he took the lead away from Justin earlier on in the race, like I said beforehand, multiple times, because that's literally all it was tonight. It was the KA show. Caden Anderson put on a dominant performance, and the fact that he was able to lap basically the entire field but Casey Garber and Dennis Moore, and if you really want to, could probably lap himself. Yeah, I mean, just a crazy race tonight, and now these guys, they have 2 races before the start of the playoffs. You have Watkins Glen and you have Darlington. Watkins Glen, you have to keep the truck on the track next week if you want to come out of there with a good point stay. It's going to be outer chaos more than likely, unlike tonight was with our 2 early race yellows and the long green flag runs, but overall tonight was a very, very good race. And my overall summary, it was the Caden Anderson show for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Terry Radford, pleasure working with you as well. Hopefully we'll work with you and Jason again. Your take of tonight's race here tonight in Richmond as well.
Well, I think domination's an understatement. This has just been an absolute clinic, a part of it. I need the setup that he was running. I need to know where he went to get it or who built it, because I want to go run that. All right, I want to go out there and get in the sim and run what he had, because I was well off of the pace when it came to Richmond, but this is such a fun track. It was such a pleasure calling my debut race for LSRTV. And what a way to call it. The action track never disappoints, and it did not disappoint tonight. I can't wait to see what the rest of this season's going to do next week at Watkins Glen. It's going to be just as phenomenal as it was tonight.
Cup and truck next week. Penultimate race of the regular season. They're going to be making left turns, right turns, chicanes, bus stops, carousels. All of those analogies will be used for the road course coming up again next Monday and Thursday night for the Cup of the Truck Series. Nathan, it's been a fun week. Your final take of being able to see this iRacing and seeing your buddies win tonight.
It's pretty cool. I want a setup.
You want a setup? All right,
Yes.
well, maybe we'll have to see about getting you one. We've gone from RC control cars to guns and rifles hunting to now finally iRacing, so maybe we could get him somehow in it for sure. So Caden Anderson again to pick up the win. It's been a fun time as always. You can follow us at Northwest Racing Series on Facebook. Go to, of course, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at LSRTV and at CRN Sports. We got football tomorrow. Grimsley, Clayton, pregame show, 6 p.m. kickoff 7 on CRN, plus Wake County Speedway, the 60th anniversary GWX Wraps 200 immediately following football, and on LSRTV and CRN Sunday, the major series, Weed Sport New York with the American Sportsman. It's going to be fun. We hope you can join us. And of course, always go to livesimracing.com, and we are CRN.com. Covering the corners tonight, Jason Rockefeller. Joining me in the broadcast booth, Terry Radford for Jeff Stabdow, Charles Wooten for Rocket Media and iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. I am Wesley Outland. Congratulations again to Caden Anderson. Sheer domination tonight to sweep Richmond, Watkins Glen, Darlington, all on the way. A quest for a championship, and still final points and tally positions needed to lock in those final 12. We'll see you Monday night at Watkins Glen.